Hello and welcome to another Sprinterra video. Today we're going to be talking about recurring transactions in Acumatica. Now, you're going to have the ability to do this in many different areas across Acumatica, but for today's video, we're just going to focus in on the AP side. So the scenario that we're going to walk through is we have a recurring rental amount that is due to one of our vendors. So we're creating an AP bill for this each month. So option one, of course, would be just to manually create the bill every month, enter all the details, enter the vendor information, and then release that bill to create the AP entry for it. Alternatively, in Acumatica, you can use recurring transactions to automate this to whatever degree that you would like. So, with the different tools that are available in Acumatica, you have the ability to 100% automate the process. As we go through the process, I'll tell you all the different areas that you could do that. For the purpose of the demonstration today, I'm going to do everything manually as far as setting up the automation and executing it. But keep in mind, you would have the ability to turn this into a 100% automated process in the long run. So in this case here, we have an AP bill mocked up. I'm just going to remove the hold on it. And once your AP bill is in a balanced status, you have the option to add it to a schedule. So this is going to go to the recurring transaction screen, which is under profiles in the AP module. And it's going to tie this to a schedule in which you can set the timing parameters, how often is it going to trigger, and all of those sorts of things. So once we click add this to a schedule, it's going to turn this bill into purely a template. So it's not something that we can process. And then all the details of this bill are what's going to be used going forward when the schedule triggers. So I'm just going to click add to schedule, and it's going to take us to the recurring transaction screen. And we're going to say that this is going to start on December 15th. We're going to set it to expire at the end of next year because we're going to say our rental agreement ends with them at the end of next year, and we'll give it no execution limit. We'll give it a title of River Build Rent Schedule, and then we'll say this is going to trigger on a monthly basis once every month on the fixed day of the month, which is going to be 15th. So I'm just going to set this active, and now you can see it's got a next execution date of 12/15/2025. So the way this works in practice is on the generate recurring transaction screen, it's looking each day for any schedules which should be running as of today's date. So in this case, you can see another one that we've got set up for a completely separate scenario. And you can also see our rent schedule that we have up ready to run. So it recognizes today is the 15th of December. As a result, we should be generating our next rent bill. If I move this back to the 14th of December, it goes away because it's not yet ready to generate. So I'm going to move this to the 15th, and I'm going to check this and prepare to process this. One quick note before we do that is you do have the ability through this clock icon up here to add an automation schedule. And essentially what this would do is it would automate this entire process. So instead of you having to come to this screen, select the schedule and run it, it's just going to run it automatically once this date meets the next execution date of this schedule. For the purposes of the demo, like I said, I'm going to run through everything top to bottom, but you do have the ability to automate completely this portion. So I'm just going to click run here, and this is going to generate that next rent bill. So I'm going to go back to my bills and adjustments, and we're going to take a look at that bill that was just created. So it's going to be the most recently created bill. It's going to be up at the top of our list here. It came in a balanced status, and it has all of the information. So it's $15,000 to our River Build vendor, and we'll go ahead and release it. So now this is done for December. If I go back to my generate recurring transactions schedule and I look at December 15th, there's nothing left to run on the rent side of things for River Build. If we then, I went ahead and cheated ahead of time and I moved my system date to January 15th of 2026. So if we do refresh this screen as of January, now it's going to recognize that we have our second bill that's ready to release, to be created. And if I go to the 14th of January, it's not going to be there yet. So just for to kind of fully walk this through, we'll create one more bill. So I'm going to execute this in January. I'm going to go back to my bills and adjustment screen. I'm going to go over, and now we have the next bill that's ready to go. We would simply update the description here to say rent for January, and let's spell that correctly. It's got the updated date, it's got all of the information, and then we'll be ready to release this as well. So that's how you can leverage the recurring transactions in Acumatica. Like I said, this is going to be available in several different areas across Acumatica for you to leverage. And you can even, this last portion of that process where I just released the bill, you can even have that portion automated as well. So technically you could have the creation of the bill, the posting of the bill, all of that automated to whatever extent that you would like. But again, that recurring transaction schedule allows you to automate the creation of bills or transactions that are recurring in nature, so that you don't have to do the manually, repetitive task each month of creating the same documents over and over. With that said, if you have any questions about it, please don't hesitate to reach out to us here at Sprinterra. Until then, or until the next time, we really appreciate your time. Have a great day.